Hello and welcome along to the Green Corner. My name is Tom Nugent and I'm joined by an illustrious panel, Jane Mangan, Patrick Mullins and Davy Russell. Day one of the 2021 Cheltenham Festival has been and gone, and we are here to look back and also look forward to day two. We'll be here each evening at 8 p.m. on Horse Racing Ireland's Facebook and YouTube channels. But we're going to take a look back at what a day to get underway. We had awesome, appreciated, superb Shishkin and the absolutely heavenly Honeysuckle. It was an incredible day, Jane Mangan. Some incredible performances.
Yes, the champions did not leave us down. The three grade ones were explosive, and the star of the show, Rachel Blackmore on Honeysuckle. We knew she was improving, but did we expect a performance like that today? It was flawless. And some horses fluffed their lines, but she's now 11 from 11. She's unbeaten. She is a queen.
She is an absolute queen. We're going to come on and talk a little bit more to Patrick Mullins, whose father trained yet another winner of the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and appreciated. But first and foremost, we're going to take a look back at today's race.
Second last flight of hurdles, Ballyadam and Blue Lord right in behind them. Third and fourth places, second last, Just Appreciate leads. An error back in the field from Ballyadam in fourth position, and now Appreciated heads towards home. Blue Lord is in pursuit, but he's 3 lengths behind him, and this Appreciate is lengthing away. Appreciated is into the home straight with a 5-length lead. Blue Lord in second, For Pleasure in third, Soaring Glory and Ballyadam the next pair, but as they come towards the last, Appreciated up and over safely. He landed with a 10-length advantage. Blue Lord has gone at the final flight of hurdles. Ballyadam and For Pleasure are fighting out second and third, but Appreciated, he's a wide margin winner. He must be 20 ahead. What an easy success. Paul Townend and Appreciated have won. Second place to go to Ballyadam, For Pleasure in third, then Soaring Glory, Irascible from Grumpy Charlie and Métier.
What a performance that was. Appreciated with the world at his feet. Looks like a chaser, but with a performance like that, could even step up to Open Hurdling Company. And I suppose the big question on everyone's lips, Patrick, is how exactly did he get beaten in last year's bumper?
I've been wondering the same thing myself, but you'll certainly be looking forward to getting Fernie Hollow back next year. Look, I think it was a real strong gallop. That really suited him. He jumped great. I love what he did at the second last. Paul gave him a squeeze and he put down, he danced, he didn't lose any ground. And he was just relentless, wasn't he? He was piston-like up the home straight. The only reason he dropped back to 2 miles was because Fernie Hollow got injured. And we're having to think about whether perhaps do we stay hurdling or do we go chasing with him? That's going to be the next question. So, I mean, look, he looks every inch a chaser. We would have always thought he'd be a Gold Cup horse. But with a performance like that, you have to think with the champion hurdle as well.
Absolutely. Davey, we spoke yesterday about Appreciated having all the attributes you need, including temperament, and he pretty much showed all his aces today. He was absolutely incredible, wasn't he?
Oh, it was absolutely awesome. It was, Paul got in a lovely rhythm. They went a really, really good gallop, which suited him. He jumped from hurdle to hurdle, and just, Paul put on the boosters, coming after running off the hill, turning the bend, and just loved the way he grabbed at the ground. He just really lengthened down to the last, met it spot on, and bang, and just grabbed at the ground again at the back. But he really was impressive. As Patrick said, his nimbleness in front of the obstacles was really, really good, and his speed through the air. So I'd say the world is his oyster from here on in.
Jane, Ballyadam's mistake might have meant a horse might have got a little bit closer to Appreciated, but it wouldn't have impacted the result for sure. What happens with a horse like this now? He really does have plenty of options. What would you like to see him do?
Well, connections can favour today. That's the first thing. We're all guilty of looking ahead and seeing what a horse could do next. As soon as they cross the line, that's the first question that comes into our minds. I think it's just a human nature, but ultimately he's just won the Supreme. But I would like to think that this horse could be one day a Gold Cup contender. Actually, all 3 Grade 1 winners from today are former Irish Point Pointers, so that just is a further boost for them. But Appreciated. I felt for Blue Lord coming down at the last. He was running a very good race as well, but he was in a class of his own today.
For sure. Another horse in a class of his own was in the Arkle. It was Shishkin Jane. How impressed were you by him?
You couldn't help but be impressed. Captain Guinness and All Mankind went as we expected, a frenetic pace. Captain Guinness actually outjumped All Mankind for much of the race, but Shishkin, having looked like he was uncomfortable with the early pace, really put it to bed 4 out. Nico de Bonneville given no nonsense ride. He knew he was on the best horse, and when push came to shove, he was in a class apart. He was really brilliant today, and I know Altior can't line up tomorrow, and we've seen Sprinter Sacre before, but this guy really does look the heir apparent to those stalwarts for Nicky Henderson.
Davey, it was a helter-skelter, Arkle. It was absolutely hectic from the word go. They made it a really good test, but it didn't bother Shishkin. It just he got on with the job and got it done.
No, he seems to have everything. He seems to have pace to go a good gallop, and he can win off a slow pace as well. So he is the real deal again. So he's one that will be stepping up able to step up in company next year. You know, it's a little bit embarrassing, really, how good the Irish horses, the Irish bred and the Irish trained horses were today. It really is a real showcase for the industry.
Patrick, I know you would have liked a crack at Shishkin with Energamine, but it would have taken a fair horse to beat him today.
It would have. They went a strong gallop. I was surprised. I don't know what you thought, Davey. I was surprised Nico got involved as early as he did. I wondered, he wasn't travelling maybe or something?
Yeah, I agree. Watching it, I agree. It seemed that he could have waited a bit longer, but I think he was drawn into it a little bit. I suppose his worry was he probably felt his dangers were behind him because he just ended up covering the two in front an awful lot sooner than what he would have liked. But I did, watching the race, think that something could if he capitulated, he could have left himself open. But at the same time, he knows the horse well enough. He knew what he was capable of doing, and as it turned out, it was all covered.
Well, Irish trained and bred horses did indeed shoot the lights out to the Cheltenham Festival today, and the queen of all was Honeysuckle in the Champion Hurdle. We're going to take a look back at that race now.
Making progress. Sharjah still going okay. Not So Sleepy is behind those. They've got 2 to jump from here in the Unibet Champion Hurdle, and it's Aspire Tower who's just the leader to Honeysuckle, who's alongside now. Then Silver Streak, Epatante within striking distance, and Sharjah also moving through into 5th position. Soldier heads the remainder, but now Honeysuckle moves into the home straight with a 2-length lead to Aspire Tower in 2nd. Sharjah has moved into 3rd. Epatante is behind those in 4th, but Honeysuckle is galloping clear as she races towards the last. A lovely leap. She cleared it safely and heads up the hill now. Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore clear from Sharjah. Epatante behind those. It's a beautiful straight. 11 victories for Honeysuckle. She is the winner of the Unibet Champion Hurdle. Sharjah in 2nd. Epatante, Aspire Tower, Not So Sleepy, Silver Streak, Soldier behind those. Then Goshen and James de Burley.
Well done.
Oh, incredible stuff. We asked the question yesterday, was it possible that Honeysuckle could be getting even better than she already was? And I think, Davey, she answered that question pretty emphatically. What a run. Incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a little bit the same as the Arkle. Rachel kind of got there a little bit easier than it had maybe seen before she got to the bend, and just when she got up sides turning in, she just came alive and it was all over. Tactically, she got it spot on. She jumped it off wide as she always does. It's not easy heading into that first bend out too wide, but she seemed to get caught for a little bit of pace at the back of the last with a circuit to go. Rachel did the right thing. She tucked her in the bend, let the filly find her feet, and once she turned down the back straight, she was back on the bridle, travelling, doing what she wanted to do. Her jumping was very, very accurate and quick, and it really was a brilliant sight. She was just marvellous. It was just one of them performances that we were, waiting to see.
I think Patrick is frozen still, is he? Patrick, I was going to ask you, a great run from your old pal Sharjah, but ultimately wasn't really good enough.
Yeah, I was sweating coming down the hill. All right. I didn't think they went as. I thought they'd go faster. And it probably suited Sharjah. They were all in a heap coming down the hill. He was still travelling very well. He jumped fantastic for Paul. But once Rachel's let Honeysuckle go after the second last, it's been game over. They're a fantastic combination, aren't they? Better than She's an Onion or any of those famous ones. But she's just got better and better and better, and Honeysuckle too, I suppose.
Jane, I saw a few people after the race on different television stations maybe question the mare's allowance because Honeysuckle is that good, but I think it's really important to drive home that she's an exception to the rule, isn't she?
Thanks for saying that, Tom. People who make that suggestion annoy me because there is only one Honeysuckle, and yes, there is only one Epatante, and they don't come around very often. I think Honeysuckle became the 6th mare ever to win the champion hurdle. This includes Dawn Run and Flaky Dove. So she's phenomenal. And I know today she would probably have won without an allowance, but she is next level. And the fact that she continues to improve is also exciting because we don't know how far she's going to continue to improve. Her jumping is so slick, but I think her, not only for her talent, but the fact that she's so versatile, and that really suits because Rachel can put her anywhere in a race. And you see how awkward Goshen was. You see horses having to be held up to settle. She is just bomb-proof mentally, and that makes her even better than her ability should make her. She's just an absolute superstar.
Indeed. Righto, time to look ahead to day 2, and it is another action-packed day. Racing gets underway at 1:20 with the Ballymore Novices hurdle, and Bob Ollinger for Rachel Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead tops the market here again, Jane. A strong Irish challenge yet again, but Brave Man's Game is an interesting angle for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. How do you see this one playing out?
Bob Ollinger has been my banker of the meeting, so I hope he doesn't let us down now. But the form of the yard, the form of everybody is bang on form because it didn't Aspire Tower run a brilliant race in the champion as well. Look, Paul Nicholls has described Brave Man's Game as potentially a future Denman. Well, Denman got beaten in this race by Nicanor, so he might find one too good again tomorrow.
Davey, would you agree with Jane? Would you think Bob Ollinger could be banker material?
Yeah, definitely. I've liked him since I saw him win his point to point. He comes from the same camp as appreciated Pat Doyle's down in Shoreview Stables in Holy Cross. He ticks every box for me. I'm in team Bob Ollinger tomorrow. He is for me. Last week or the week before, he was probably the bet of the festival. It'd be great to see Rob Corr colours carried to victory as well, because he's a huge player in our sport, and we really need the likes of him to have success. But even put all that aside, he'll handle Brave Man's Game. Again, it could be a stiffer test with Patrick will tell you about their horse. You have to be impressed with what he done galloping up the straight in Leopardstown, and 2 grade 1s is no mean feat. So he probably holds the best form in the race, but I think Bob Ollinger probably seems to have the improvement.
Patrick, Gaillard de Menil, tell us a little bit about him, and do you think he could have a hand to play in this year's Ballymore?
Yeah, look, he's a hugely talented horse, not overly big, but well put together, compact. He wears the hood, he is a little keen, and it's a small field tomorrow, so Paul's going to have to get cover, get him settled. Hopefully Game will get on with it, and Go Gallop should help him, but I think I'm going to have to disagree with Davey. I think the best novice hurdle this year was the maiden hurdle in Gorham Park when Fernie Hollow beat Bob Ollinger. I know it was only a maiden hurdle, it wasn't a one, but it doesn't make it a better or worse. Those 2 horses came down the straight that day in Gorham was phenomenal. I think Bob Ollinger, I think he's going to be very, very hard to beat. We saw what Appreciated did today in Fernie Hollow was our number 1 for the Supreme at the start of the season. So I think the fact that Bob Ollinger put it up to Fernie Hollow that day in Gorham, and Fernie Hollow would have had a lot more experience on the day than Bob Ollinger had. I think that's the best form in any novice hurdle this year. And I think it could be another one for Henry and Rachel.
Lovely stuff. Righto. The second race on day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival is the Brown Advisory Novices Chase, and a horse I am so looking forward to seeing again at the Cheltenham Festival is a horse called Monkfish. And we're going to take a look back at his win at the Dublin Racing Festival now.
Latest exhibition, pushed along to try and go with his old rival. Asterian Forlange is confidently ridden on the outside of Andy Dufresne, and then Feast to Dairy. Straightening for the final fence in the Flowgas Novice Chase, and it's Monkfish in the lead from Latest Exhibition, who's trying very hard. And then comes Andy Dufresne, Asterian Forlange, and Feast to Dairy. They're coming down to the final fence, and it's Monkfish and Paul Townend over the last from Latest Exhibition and Brian Cooper. Then comes Andy Dufresne, Asterian Forlange is next, but Monkfish is running rings around them here, running up towards the finish, is again confirming superiority over Latest Exhibition as the Grade 1s pile high for Monkfish. Paul Townend and Willie Mullins, an emphatic winner of the Flowgas Novice Chase. Latest Exhibition second, Andy Dufresne third, Asterian Forlange is fourth.
For Latest Exhibition, it'd be a superstar only for him. He can jump, he can travel, he can do it all. He probably won one of the best Albert Bartlett's ever run at the festival last year, and fences have just brought out another level in him, Patrick. He seems incredible. I think Patrick might be frozen there. So, Jane, I'll ask you the same question. He proved a very, very good staying novice hurdler, and he just has taken it to the next level over fences this season. He looks the complete package.
Yeah, he's a natural, there's no doubt about it. Himself and Envoy, if they were both lining up in the Gold Cup on Friday, I'd fancy both of them. But we'll find out tomorrow for sure. Look, it's not a big field by any means. He outstayed his rivals in the Albert Bartlett last year. Well, I hope with the benefit of fences, he's just going to outclass his rivals this year. From an Irish perspective, he's in many accumulators. He's obviously prohibited odds if you are backing him, but he's just a joy to behold. A horse that I think if there is going to be a Gold Cup horse in the novice division, this is the guy.
Davey, he does look up to that standard. I know even Jane mentioned that there maybe we get a little bit ahead of ourselves talking about novices and what they're going to do next, but he does look that really top class novice that could really have the world at his feet, couldn't he?
Yeah, he's just appreciated over fences. Exactly, pretty much the same. You watch them there galloping down to the last in Leopardstown. Often, so many times we've seen horses get in, get tired, going to the last in Leopardstown. Not this horse, just takes in his stride, lands and out through the bridle again and up to the line. Very, very impressive. He's showed a liking for the track. Rightly or wrongly, he probably shouldn't have won the Albert Bartlett last year because of his size and his makeup. But he showed that class, that bit of class that's needed to be a top contender in these races. When he did win it last year, he dug it out, ground it out, and he's, as you said yourself, fences have just improved him hugely.
We've lost Patrick, but we'll keep moving. The big race of the day tomorrow at Cheltenham is at 3:05. It's the Queen Mother Champion Chase. And Chacun Poursuit tops the betting, Jane. Obviously, we're robbed of another clash. Altior, a non-runner. But Chacun Poursuit, we can only talk about the horses that are running. And based on his run at the Dublin Racing Festival, he's going to be very difficult to beat.
I would say Patrick's gone to mass because Chacun Poursuit's record getting to Cheltenham, but there isn't even mass at the moment, so he can't possibly be gone there. Look, we fancied him last year. He was withdrawn in the morning because of the stone bruise, but so far this year he's been phenomenal. He started in the Hilly Way, and his two performances at Leopardstown have been, particularly his last run, where he had a few doubters questioning his resilience off the bridle. Well, that was firmly put to bed last time, and I'll be very disappointed if he's beaten. And I hope he can give Willie Mullins that all elusive first win in the Champion Chase. But I do like the other Irish mare, Put the Kettle On each way. She's a 3 from 3 at the track. She was a brilliant winner of the Arkle last year. And if you are looking for each way odds, I think Put the Kettle On might provide that.
And Jane, while I have you, you're a bit of a pedigree buff. Nube Negra, bred in Spain. The Skeltons liked him so much that you hear of trainers maybe going out and buying a mare, but they actually went out and bought the sire.
Well, Dink, I don't know anything about him. Davy Russell might be able to tell you a bit more about him, but this horse seems to have set him on fire. I can't imagine he would have covered many mares or had many representatives, but this guy is putting him on the map. So he's now standing with the Skeletons in the UK, and gives the UK breeders something to think about.
Very much so. Patrick, while we have you and the internet is relatively stable, we're just moved on to talk about the Queen Mother Champion Chase. Obviously, no Altior, which makes Jacques and Poursois' job a little bit easier. But Jane thought you might have gone off to Mass there just to be saying a little prayer, hoping for the best.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lucky race for us. I mean, Duvan started at 2 to 9, came back with a stress fracture in his pelvis. Min ran into Altior at 1 year. Undersow ran into Sprinter Sacre in another year. Jacques and Poursois obviously got a foot bruise in the morning auto race last year, so we've never won it. But we think this is the fella who can end the hoodoo. You know, he's been exceptional all along. It took us 3 years to get him to the track after we bought him. But since we've got him there, he's only been beaten once, and that was when he blew up. So we changed his program this year. We got him out earlier before Christmas, and Dermot Keeling, who rides him at home, is absolutely delighted with him. So touch wood, he can do the business tomorrow.
Davey, from a tactical perspective, say you have a ride in the race and you're not on Jacques and Poursois. How do you even go about trying to get him beaten? Do you just ride your own race, or is there a tactical way that you could maybe get him off an even keel?
Not necessarily. I was Jacques Poursois is a little bit like Honeysuckle. You know, you would probably have thought maybe that she wasn't, well, you know, she was bordering on champion hurdle class until we saw her the last day, and she just put all them doubts to bed. And again, Jacques and Poursois done the same the last day at the Dublin Racing Festival. Obviously, the camp at Closutton know how good he is, but we hadn't really seen that on the race course. And he kind of put all them doubts to the bed. So really, like when you're riding against him, you kind of just have to ride your own horse, and you know, not hoping that he makes a mistake or something like that. But you know, that's all that's all you have, because really, I think I think he's best when he comes off the pace. He's had to make the running on a couple of occasions, and it obviously seemed that he's got lonely in front now. Whereas on both occasions that he's come from behind, he's been very, very impressive and shown an awful lot of gears. So he can do either. He can make the running. If he gets a bit lonely in front, you probably the only way you'd beat him is leave him out there for as long as you can and try and nick him on the line. But that would be virtually impossible, I'd say.
Lovely stuff. Right, we'll just get a quick word on a couple of the other races. 340 is the cross country. Davy Easy's Land obviously is the favourite, and your old pal Tiger Roll is in their second favourite. How have you thought this season has gone for him, and do you think he could get some of that spark back?
Yeah, I suppose not great. He pulled up in Cheltenham this year, and then he's in great form, but going to Navan, but the ground was on the testing side for him. But his homework is very, very good. He's showing signs of the old Tiger Roll. His jumping has gone like really electric. Keith does all the schooling on him. I got a chance to school him a couple of times this year over hurdles, and he's just been so rapid, where he wasn't like that last year. He was kind of gone a little bit deliberate in his jumping, and he was getting up and over his jumps where he usually just flicks across the top of them. And Keith said he schooled him in Punchestown this year, and it was the first time that he felt him just flicking out through the bushes. And again, we schooled him in Caddy Crossgallons, where all the cross country horses jump, and really he was just electric. So for that reason, I'm going to have my Tiger Roll boxer shorts on tomorrow, and he's for me.
Okay, we're fingers crossed. Patrick, it would be remiss of me not to ask you about the bumper horses. Obviously, Kilcrut has was incredible at the Dublin Racing Festival. He tops the market, but Sir Gerhard joins you now, and he's been relatively popular in the betting anyway.
Yeah, so look, I suppose we saw Galvin win today. So you know, that obviously was one horse who changed stables late on that was able to come out and win. So that looks like it mightn't be a negative. We've seen nothing here that says it'll be a negative for Sir Gerard, but it is in the back of your mind. Kilcrut is in fantastic form at home. I ride him every day. He's a very light framed horse. He's kind of anorexic-y, and we do a lot less work with him than we do other horses, but he seems to thrive off that. I think he'll show tomorrow that that Leopardstown was no fluke. I think he'll confirm the impression that he created in Leopardstown.
Very good. Jane, anything else you wanted to give a mention to on day 2 at the Cheltenham Festival?
Well, I was kind of undecided about the bumper until I heard Patrick there talking about Kilcross. So why am I even overcomplicating it in my mind? Like that performance, I'm trying to knock it, but it was probably the best, most impressive, visually impressive bumper performance I've ever seen. So I'm not going to bet against them, but it is a good renewal of the bumper, and let's hope. Look, Ireland had 5 winners today. Let's hope we can emulate something like that tomorrow.
Excellent stuff. Righto, we're out of time. That is day 2 done and dusted. Join us tomorrow. We're back each and every evening during the festival at 8 p.m. on Horse Racing Ireland's YouTube and Facebook channels. But for now, my thanks to the team here, Jane, Davey, and Patrick, and of course, you for watching. Join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. in the Green Corner. Good luck.